USC recruiting woke up this weekend. The Trojans entered the weekend with just one commitment, and they were sitting outside the top 50. Then Lincoln Riley flipped a switch, and it started with Justice Terry. He flips him from Georgia on Sunday morning. Then 3 more commitments before the day ends, and USC currently sitting at number 3 in the recruiting rankings. Just a crazy run by the USC coaching staff, and I got On3's Director of Scouting and Ranking, Charles Power, here with me. We're going to break down the strategy behind USC's recruiting operation. But first, USC fans, I told you, we're talking USC recruiting all offseason, so go ahead, hit subscribe, jump on board, On3 Recruits, all offseason. We're talking USC recruiting, and here it is. USC is on fire coming out of the weekend. They have commitments now from Julian Lewis, 5-star, Justice Terry, 5-star, Isaiah Gibson, 4-star, Hilton Stubbs, 4-star, and Gus Cordova, a 3-star. So Charles, what sticks out to you early on about this USC 2025 class?
I think it's extremely notable that USC is leaving the West Coast to compile this top talent early on in their foundation in the 2025 cycle. You look at the states these guys are from: Georgia, Texas, Florida. So they're expanding their footprint and recruiting nationally.
Yeah, no commitment so far within the state of California. So going outside the region, is this a good idea?
I think so. When you look at USC in Lincoln Riley's tenure there, they're trying to compete at the highest level. They're gunning for national championships. So they're chasing the best players. And I think when you look at the best players at these premium positions in 2025, I think they're going after them. The state of Georgia is loaded. There's always top players in Texas, Florida, of course. So I think it's a smart strategy, and we'll see if they can sustain it.
Yeah, and when you speak about premium positions, we're talking trench recruiting. And it's always a big topic whenever we talk Georgia, Ohio State, Alabama, these teams that are competing year in and year out for national championships. They prioritize the trenches. Is USC making the trenches a priority now?
I think that's a massive directive for USC in this 2025 cycle. When you look at how they've targeted it early on, it's clear that this is a major focus. I think when you look at Justice Terry, this is a top 10 prospect who they flipped from Georgia. That is very difficult to do. You look at Isaiah Gibson, the number 2 edge pass rusher in the cycle per On3. In-state, a Georgia guy who was a top in-state target for the Bulldogs. They got him in the fold. And then just, I think, building up the trenches. They started that. They pivoted to this late in last cycle. And I think it's something we've seen carry on early on in 2025. Now, obviously, this comes with a massive caveat that they have to hold these guys. Right. They're not the home team here, given the proximity. These prospects are going to have to travel across the country to visit USC. But I think they're going after the big fish, and they're landing them early on.
Yeah. So currently USC sitting at number 3 overall, as I said, only 5 commitments. So there's still a lot of room to go in this class. In your opinion, what do you think the biggest thing USC needs to accomplish still in this cycle?
Yeah, I think you flip to the other side of the line of scrimmage, Josh. Offensive line. When you look at Lincoln Riley's best offenses at Oklahoma, they were really offensive line centric. And I think recruiting nationally at offensive line, particularly offensive tackle, this 2025 cycle is loaded at offensive tackle. It's perhaps the best I've ever evaluated this early. So I think there's a ton of top targets. We have 8 offensive tackles in the top 33 of our rankings early on. So there's a lot of national, high-end talent at the position, and I think USC would be behooved to get seriously involved with some of those recruitments.
Yeah, and we have not been talking a whole lot of USC recruiting because they weren't doing a whole lot in the first couple months of this cycle, but it's on now. Charles Power, thank you for joining us, talking a little USC recruiting today.
Sure thing.
Thank you for watching this video, and if you enjoyed that, go check out the hundreds of videos that we have on this channel, and also do me a favor, hit subscribe to the On3 Recruits channel.